Major differences between financing when purchasing with a new construction community lender or your own private lender. There are 6 key takeaways from this video. The first thing is going to be convenience as far as a major difference between working with a builder's lender, which they call their preferred lender, or a private lender. Often, when it comes to the builder's lender, it is located on site, the lender, and of course that lender is going to have a close-knit relationship with said builder, or with some builders like major corporations like D.R. Horton, Taylor Morrison, Richmond Homes in Central Florida. They have their own in-house lender that works right along with and is a part of that builder's umbrella. So that is their first preferred lender. With the private lender, they do not work on site. A lot of the new construction communities, when it comes to their lenders, they'll like to say things like the outside lenders, private lenders do not know how to handle new construction contracts. However, in my experience, I have not experienced that. They just have their own rules and regulations where they will not let certain things go by, like said preferred lender, because they're under that same umbrella. So they're going to make sure before they sign off at closing, basically, that every I is dotted and all T's are crossed. Sometimes things happen. New construction is fun now, but it's a beast, okay? I like to, as a realtor myself, I have a flyer template that I had created that I give all of my buyers once we get on to sign a contract with the new construction community to help explain a lot of things that are about to happen, because this is, yes, a process. I'll make a video maybe one day, but one thing I can say from prior experience is sometimes, especially after our final inspection, certain things are not completed. And with a private lender, they will not sign off at closing. However, with that in-house lender, with the builder's preferred lender, they will just make a special stipulation in the contract stating that they will complete whatever needed to be completed, even if it is after closing. Sometimes the certificate of occupancy is delayed. And if that happens, a private lender, they are most likely not going to sign off with that builder at closing. However, with the preferred lender, they will go ahead and waive that stipulation and go ahead and get you to closing, and they'll provide that form later. That's just some of the things as far as with convenience, working with the preferred lender and not working with the preferred lender and outside lender. Second thing I will say is incentives. Now, when it comes to incentives, working with the builder's preferred lender right now is definitely shifting and stabilizing, but because of interest rates, I just honestly believe because of interest rates, it is sort of scaring some buyers. Even though inventory is low on homes, because of the interest rates, buyers are not buying as fast as these new construction communities are building. So these builders have a lot of incentives, and the major incentives are going to be them buying that rate down, because buying your rate down can be expensive. It's normally $1,000 or more just to buy down a point. But that's the video you can look up on YouTube or Google or get in contact with the lender. If you work with me, I can always have my lender explain that to you. I stay in my lane. I know what things are, but when it comes to explaining the finances, I just always believe in me as the realtor staying in my lane and navigating you and getting you in contact with that professional. So I can definitely connect you to a professional, or I would say contact with your lender and have them answer specific questions if you're interested in buying down your rate, if you want to use an outside lender, and they can tell you the best route to go for that. I'm so sorry about my voice. I was partying with my family this weekend. It was such a wonderful time. We had a ladies' weekend, my grandma, my cousins, my aunts, my mom, my sisters. It was just a beautiful weekend. So much fun and love. It was so needed. My family had some recent deaths and some hard deaths. So we just needed this time to love on each other. And baby, I loved on my family. I laughed so hard. I had such a good time. I ate well, and my voice sounded like I have a cold or I'm hoarse, but I'm not. I guess I'm hoarse, but it's only because your girl had a good weekend. I did. Okay. Now back to those incentives. A builder's lender, like I said, may offer incentives such as discounts on closing costs, upgrades on the home, and buying down the interest rate. So that is a major plus. Now with a private lender, they typically do not offer the builder's incentives. Some can compete with the competitive rates as far as helping with those terms and helping buy down rates. So it just depends on what's important to you. When it comes to financing, there's so many things. There's so many reasons why you would choose a specific loan or a specific lender. Even when I get buyers pre-approved, I like to have them, check with another lender just so we can line everything up and they can make the best decision for themselves. So I always say it's great to have more than one lender pre-approve you when it gets to that point, so you can line up and say, okay, this is good, because those incentives sound nice with the upgrades and everything. But if the mortgage rate is going to be more economical for you, or if you need that down payment assistance that private lender is giving you, then you might need to go that route. But I'm going to touch on that down payment assistance as we go a little bit further on this list, because with the builder, regardless, you're going to get them an earnest deposit, even with down payment assistance. Okay, so now let's talk about number 3 on the major differences when it comes to finances with a builder's lender and a private lender. The third thing will be the loan options, okay? With a builder lender, you may be limited on the options compared to a private lender. That is a fact. With a private lender, they offer a range of loan options, particularly allowing you to find a loan that better fits your needs, okay? And that is going hand in hand in what I was stating earlier. With a private lender, they'll be able to line out more options for you to choose from. When it comes with that builder's lender, so it has to go the way it has to go. They have their contract. They tell you if you qualify, you don't qualify. They're going to tell you exactly how much you have to give them at the signing of the contract. And that just sort of is what it is. There's no leeway when it comes to that builder's lender because they're working for a corporation. When it comes to that builder, it's not the same like with the resale with the seller, where the real estate agent, where we can actually talk with them. They don't have the same leeway as when a real estate agent is working with a typical listing agent, because that listing agent is working with the seller, and we can sit together, or we can go back and forth as we are negotiating your contract and terms. A buyer's agent, we root for the buyer. Seller's agent, we root for the seller, and we all come to a middle. However, a realtor negotiating with the builder, it's going to be more on stipulations, and we might be able to get some things amended. It's more so looking at contract and making sure that you're not paying more for options. But when it comes to negotiating that sales price, it's just not going to happen. So when you're working with the builder, it's normally more straightforward. There's not much negotiation. Like that base price is the base price. That base price is not changing whatsoever. So that is just something to let you know. But when it comes to the loans, there's just a lot of programs going on with down payment assistance and that outside lenders can help you with. But builders, they work with some. They do work with some of the national, federal grants. But when it comes to more city and county and state grants, lender does not typically work with those, because, not to ramble off, but when it comes to down payment assistance, lenders have to take courses for some of these down payment assistance programs available. So they have to get certified to be eligible to even help you become eligible. So that is something that the preferred lenders are not requiring their lenders to do. So those programs are not available, but those programs are available with outside private lenders. So when it comes to financing, it depends on what do you need. How much can you afford each month? What extra can you put down? Just what do you not have? Where do we have to pull money from? If it's that type of scenario situation, then you might need to lean towards outside lender, because they have more flexibility that the builder's lender just do not have. Okay. Number 4 is going to be interest rates. I'm going to touch on that quite a bit. So the builder's lender, aka preferred lender of the builder, their rates may be competitive, but not always the lowest available. But right now, Again, these builders, with their incentives, they are helping buy these interest rates down because they need to sell the homes that they are building. Like, I live in Florida, so there is new construction going on everywhere. And they are offering incentives out the whoa because they need to put families in these homes because they don't want to pay the taxes on it. That's just the honest of it. Once that home is built, that builder wants that home sold. So they are paying down interest rates right now. But when they hit quota, they're not going to be buying down those interest rates. They're not going to be paying all these closing costs that they're paying. Now, with a private lender, rates may vary, but could potentially offer lower rates depending on your financial situation and credit worthiness. And that is basically what I was saying earlier. Again, it's just when it comes to that private lender, they have so many options. So it really depends on what you need. Now, it says, I know I mentioned credit worthiness. However, you're going to need at least a 640 credit score for down payment assistance. You will need that 640 credit score for down payment assistance with an outside lender. I just had to put that out there. I want to put that out there because with a builder's lender, most of their incentives are available with a 580 credit score. Most builders, it depends on, the builder, it depends on the mortgage, brokerage and everything. But right now, in my experience, as long as you have a 580 credit score and as long as you qualify with their regulations when it comes to debt to income ratio, you will be able to get the incentives as well as the interest rates, okay? So that is a major difference when it comes to interest rates with the builder and a private lender. With the private lender, you must have a 640 for down payment assistance. But with the builder's lender, their incentives and those interest rate buy downs are available with a 580 credit score. So it just really depends on what you need. Again, 580 sounds great, but if you don't have the finances, then you're going to have to hold off and wait until you have that 640, okay? So the fifth thing is going to be customer service. All right. Now, first of all, I'm just like, y'all, I'm professional on these papers and I make these deals happen. But I'm a sister. I'm a home girl. So I'm going to say dope. I'm a dope realtor. Okay. Like, I handle my business, man. I really do. In customer service my whole life, sales my whole life. So I know how to work with people. I know how to work with everyone. You hear me? So if I'm your realtor, customer service, it's going to work because you're never going to feel the stress. Like if I don't have to put something bad on you, I'm going to handle that thing. And once it's handled, I'm going to be like, hey, miss, let me tell you what happened, but let me tell you it's resolved and this is the outcome. However, I deal with a lot. Okay, so customer service with these builder lenders, again, they prioritize the builder's interest over you, the buyer. Point blank, period. I have plenty of videos on this. The builder's lender, as well as that sales consultant inside that new community, they work for the builder. This is why it's so important. It's incredibly vital for you to have a realtor representing you with these new construction communities. It's way too many buyers out here saying, I don't need a realtor because there's one in the office. Baby girl, baby boy, that person in that office is not working for you. They are working for the builder. When they give you their business card, it's going to say that name of the builder. When they email you, it's going to have that name of the builder behind their name. Okay? When you walk into that office, that sales consultant, now they can do their job. They can write these contracts. And they're going to write these contracts, but they're not going to negotiate for you. They're not going to do anything for you that they don't have to do. They're not going to give you some of these incentives and discounts if they don't have to do it. You won't even know about it. Agents, we know how to get this information out of them. But if you just go walk in there smiling, happy, ooh, I don't have a realtor. Nope, no representation. Because let me tell you, the first thing they are going to do is say, let me go ahead and get you registered. And again, that is their job. They're going to be smiling and so happy to say it. And they're going to say, is a realtor representing you? And when you say no, they're going to be like, yes, let's get this form filled out. Okay. And this is because the second that you fill out that form, you cannot have representation. So if you get yourself into a contract and you say, this don't sound right, this not going my way, this isn't what they told me in the beginning, I don't understand what's going on, I'm asking questions, no one's answering it, and you get frustrated within that sale, and you want to get a realtor, there is nothing we can do at that point. They are not going to cancel that contract out for you just to have a realtor represent you. They will keep every dollar you gave them if you cancel that contract. And again, it's 3.5%. So if you're going new construction, you're paying on the low end $12,000 just to go into contract, unless there's an incentive going on. Okay? So do not make that mistake by walking into that office building, model home, and fill out a form. If you must go without an agent, just do not register. You do not have to register to see that home. And if they try to force you, then you already know it's time for you to go and don't come back without representation. I just had to put that out there. I don't care what state you live in. Have representation. Even if someone goes to court, they are going to hire a public defender. They are not going to walk in there and say, it's okay, the state attorney's there, I'm good. No, that means you just went to court unrepresented. And that is what you're doing every single time you walk into a new construction community and sign a contract without a realtor. Okay? So that mortgage broker and that real sales consultant, they're going to be able to get away with anything. And not saying that they're doing shady business. So, I really don't want to put that out there. But at the end of the day, they don't have to come to you and explain anything at all, because they are doing what the builder told them to do, and it's all in the builder's best interest. They're going to say, this is how it goes. You have to pay this. This is a date for this. This inspection is on this day, and your closing is on this day. Yes, you have, and that's really it. The contract is cut and dry. So don't make that mistake. But anyway, again, the builder's lender will prioritize the builder's interest over yours, point blank, period, because that is who they're representing. Okay? A private lender typically provides more personalized customer service, and they will be able to focus more on your individual and financial goals. Because again, they have all of these programs available. They don't just have one or two programs. They don't have all these other options that these private lenders do have. And that just sort of is what it is. They can't help it. That's their job. It's cut and dry. This is what the job says. These are the rules. These are the regulations. These are the requirements. And that is what it is. At the end of the day, everyone, we need our job. And their job is what their job is. So the customer service level is definitely going to be different. They'll make you feel like you're not going to be able to get a home. But you can get a private lender and get approved for the same amount of money that you need for that home. And with your private lender, you can go in there and buy that said home because you have a different lender that was able to finance that mortgage for you. And that's why that's number 5, customer service. They cannot do it for you, but you can go somewhere else and the outside lender can. So that's number 5, customer service. Now, and I went over this at basically every single step already. However, I'm going to go ahead and state it as my number 6. Major differences between using a builder's lender, their preferred lender, from using a outside lender, private lender, when it comes to financing a new construction home. Okay, number 6 is flexibility. Yes, a builder's lender might have less flexibility in terms of negotiating or accommodating specific financial situations. Told you I already said this, but now I'm giving it number 6. No, but yes, the flexibility, they just do not have it. That's why it's hand in hand with customer service and flexibility, because they can only do what they can do. They just don't have that flexibility. However, with the private lender, they generally offer more flexibility in terms of loan structure, and they can tailor solutions to you as an individual and your circumstances. These are my top 6 most important differences when it comes to using a preferred builder's lender or an outside private lender. Okay, so please consider these factors when deciding between a builder's lender and a private lender for your new construction home financing. Okay, now again, this is not being negative towards builders or private lenders, because they both have pros and cons. It's just important for you as a buyer to know the pros and cons. But I also say I'm just a realtor. When it comes to finances, please sit down with a mortgage broker, a mortgage officer, anyone in mortgage. They can fully explain and break down your questions for you and answer it wholeheartedly in full. I have a relationship with a lot of preferred lenders with builders in Central Florida because I sell a lot of new construction homes in Central Florida, and these are very good people. I love working with them. They're professional. I have nothing bad to say about them. I have not had a bad experience with any lenders or sales consultants, honestly. But again, I know how to treat people because I have a background in customer service and sales. So I treat everyone with respect. And that is major, especially being a realtor. We have to talk and facilitate so much that if we have the wrong attitude when approaching these other professionals, for you all, if I'm a buyer or seller, then it makes it hard for your transaction. So it's just so important to have a realtor that knows how to speak to others and treat everyone fair, and it just really helps make every transaction smooth. However, I'm here for you as a seller or buyer, but when it comes to new construction, of course, I'm here for you as your buyer's agent. And I've worked with outside lenders for new construction as well as with the preferred lender. It just really depends on what the buyer needs, what's important for them. And as your realtor, then we help steer you that way. Again, it's always good to talk to a mortgage professional, mortgage broker, mortgage officer, if you have any questions when it comes to financing on a home, if it's new construction or resale, because they are the professionals. Reach out to them. Don't sign anything. Ask a lot of questions, okay? And please do not, I don't care what state you live in, do not go into a new construction community unrepresented. Again, I have a couple of videos on my channel explaining why you do not want to go to a new construction community without representation. And you can go check those videos out. But seriously, folks, seriously, they're nice. They're going to do their job, but they are not there representing you. They are representing the builder because that's who they work for. Buyer's agents, we are there to represent you. We are there to go over that contract with you. We are there to get special stipulations in. We are there to look at the numbers to make sure they align. Like I have a client, she ended up going without me. This was a client I did have, and I took her to a new construction community, and she really fell in love with this townhome. And the townhome was like $408,000. It was a good price, single mom. And she had to put 3.5% down payment, right, for this home. And the sales consultant was so nice and smiling. And she was like, yeah, so that'd be $20,000 to get the contract signed. And I knew that day we weren't getting anything done because she didn't have her papers or anything in order. So I know that's about, for that home, it's about $14,000-$15,000 roughly, for 3.25. So when she said $20,000, I said, am I tripping? Because I know that's way too much. So I took out my little calculator. I'm like, okay, I'm not tripping. I bet my buyer was like, what is she doing? Was she texting? No, I'm not texting. I'm making sure I'm not doing this math incorrect in my head. So I didn't say anything at the time. But she was like, okay, I have $20,000, my buyer. And I'm just sitting there smiling because that's what I do. And I was like, I can't believe this lady was going to give her out these $20,000. So, of course, before she was going to sign the contract, because I'm her agent, I was going to let her know, hey, we're not doing that $20,000. Let me be the agent. Let's go ahead and get you pre-approved because that's most important. Let's get these documents in with this lender. That's what's most important. I just believe that handling what's important in that order. There's no need for me to go back and forth with a sales consultant saying your math is off and we don't have a pre-approved buyer and we're not ready to sign a contract. So I just sat back and I internalized that because if anything, it made me look that much better as a realtor when I would have got to that table and I would have been like, well, I did the math and 3.5% is not $20,000. So I'm just trying to figure out why she's supposed to be sending you or wiring $20,000. Okay. But unfortunately, I didn't get to do that. I was really excited to do that for that buyer, but she went to another community without me, and it's like I didn't even hear from her. I didn't know what was going on, and I checked on her. I was like, hey, you ready to get this process done? Let's get this pre-approval started. And she was like, oh, I'm moving into my other new home. And I was like, okay. But I'm like, she was happy. But I'm like, she has no idea. I have no idea because I didn't look anything up. I have no questions to ask. But I'm like, I know she was going to give that $20,000 check. She went to a new community. So if another realtor is listening, they're probably like, but she signed the paper. She went to a different community. So there was nothing, I didn't get anything from that. But I'm like, she was so antsy. And she thought she could do this without me. Obviously, like a lot of buyers, they think I can walk in and just buy the house. And yes, you can. But you don't have representation, so they can take advantage of you. So I don't know. I don't know what happened with her next deal. But I'm like, if she was okay with giving $20,000 as the earnest deposit for her earnest deposit of $3.25 on a home that was $408,000, when the math wasn't mathy, I know whatever community she went to, whatever they told her, she went with. Now, she's happy at the end of the day, so congratulations. Good for you. However, get an agent, because we can most likely help you save money. That's our job as a buyer's agent, to help you save money out of pocket. Or just to make sure everything goes according to plan and you are not being taken advantage of because you are ignorant to the facts of what to look out for. Okay? But yes, so those are the 6 major differences between a builder's preferred lender and a private outside lender when it comes to new construction communities. This is JKelly. That is who I am. I go by JKelly Sells Real Estate. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or I am JKells on TikTok. Find me on those platforms. But listen, if you live in Florida, thinking about moving to Florida, especially Central Florida, and you want to sell or purchase a home, please contact me. I would love to help you. I would love to help guide you in this beautiful journey that you are on with your Central Florida property or Florida property, because I am licensed in all of Florida. So please reach out to me and let's start your home buying journey today. Or I can go ahead and get to your house and we can start that home valuation process to sell your home. Okay, but again, my name is JKelly. I'm a Central Florida Realtor. If you have not already, please subscribe to my page. Follow me on all platforms. And again, if you are looking to buy or sell, please go ahead and contact me. I would love to help you. If you do not live in Florida, I have a vast network of professionals that can help you in no matter what state you're in the United States of America. So please reach out to me and I can refer you to another agent who I know will take great care of you and your family. All right. My phone number and my email will be in the description box. And thank you so much for watching. You be blessed. And again, do not go to that new construction community without a realtor. Do not go without being represented. It just don't make no sense. You don't see people get divorced without a divorce attorney. You don't see anybody go to court without being represented. You just don't see people that need representation to do anything without representation. Do not walk into that community thinking they're representing you. They're not. They can execute that contract. They can take care of you. Yes, they will. But they are not representing you. They're representing the builder. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it. All right? Just be blessed. All right?